Hi everyone, my name is Kartik and my channel is about mental models. In the last video I left you with a question which I said I would debrief at the beginning of this one. So before I dive into the mental model for today's video, I just want to debrief this question and give you the answer. So to recap, the question was, this is the flow, how many feedback loops are there, where are they, and what type are they? So the answer is there are 4 loops. Where are they? Well, the first one is here in this loop. The second one is this outer ring, this big ring here. I'm just going to put that one down there. The third one is this middle ring here, this one, so I'm going to put that one here, and then the fourth one is not quite the outer ring, it's this top item here, and then it swings around, so it doesn't go right to the bottom, but it's this top one, and I'm going to put that one there. So there are 4 loops. That's where they're situated in this causal loop stock and flow diagram. So what type are they? This one here is a balancing loop. This one here is also a balancing loop. This one here, the outer ring all the way to the bottom, is a balancing loop. But this one, the final one, which is sort of this top item here, doesn't go right to the bottom, comes up the top, then goes around. So this one up here, this is a reinforcing loop. So that's the answer. There are 4 loops, that's where they're situated, and that's the type of loops they are. Did you get the same answer? So bear with me, I'm just going to write this down and we're going to launch into today's video. See you in a moment. Hi everyone, so I've rubbed off everything, and in my 7th video of this Systems Thinking mini series, I'm going to be talking about the solutions mental model. Solutions is actually the same as second order thinking. And going back to my previous video, this is about thinking of the consequences from the effects of one's actions. And if you remember, I drew a simple flow out which looked a little bit like this. Actions, effects, consequences. And if you remember, the effect was the first order and the consequences was the second order. The idea behind the mental model is that we want to think about the unintended consequences at the action stage so that we can avoid taking the wrong action which can lead to a bad outcome. So we want to think about the consequences at this stage, at the action stage, and before this is the problem and or question that we're trying to solve. So, and after drawing this, I talked about how we apply this mental model, and there were 3 things which were, I remember writing the word list down, and the first thing was the question, and then what? The second one was thinking in terms of time, and the third one was to draw a tree. And it is this drawing of trees where the connection with systems thinking arises. In my previous video on second order thinking, I drew a tree structure which looked something like this. So you've got a problem and two possible actions, and they have an effect, and there are consequences which are intended and unintended. So I drew this kind of a tree structure out, and this structure is of a simple pathway. As you can see, it's very linear, and the flow is in one direction. Just highlighting it with a different color, you can see that one step is following another. All the arrows are going in one direction. So this is a tree, but trees can also be cause and effect diagrams, or even stock and flow diagrams, what we just had, a combination of what we just had on the board a little while earlier for the question. And they are interconnected pathways, so both simple pathways and sort of interconnected ones. Something like that. They are both trees. This is a tree, and so is that a tree. Now, as we know, these interconnected pathways require some effort to create, but as I mentioned in my pathway systems thinking video, it gives us the deeper understanding of how things happened and why. And so these trees help us to think in terms of systems interactions, as well as the simple ones as well, but more so the interconnected ones. The other two elements, the and then what and time, are also important too. And although I haven't covered it in my previous system thinking videos, there are something called delays, which is where the time element in this list is a factor, and they show up in both stock and flow diagrams and causal loop diagrams. I haven't gone into detail on that. If you wish, feel free to read up about it, but there is something called delays, and so that forces you in a certain way to think about the delay that's happening in one of these interconnected loop diagrams, the stock and flow or the causal loop ones. So I don't want to go into too much in this video because I will most likely be repeating everything that I've said, or most things that I've said from my previous second order thinking video. Having said that, I felt it was important to draw out where the second order thinking video, the second order thinking elements, are connected to systems thinking, because this is a systems thinking mental model. So this is where they're connected. It's primarily in the drawing of trees, which we've covered in previous videos, stock and flow and feedbacks. And as you may have guessed already, through the drawing of trees, through the building out of these trees, we can build solutions, which is what this video is about. It's not to show you how to do all of this, because that's been done already in a previous video. We've looked at a few examples, but it's to sort of highlight the fact that these can give you solutions and a better outcome, a better solution. We can think about unintended consequences before they happen at the action stage, and so we can avoid suboptimal or negative outcomes. So that's what this video is about. As I said, it's all about having the best solution. And that's all for this video. I hoped you liked this video. If you did, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. It really does help my little channel grow. And if you have time, why not watch these two videos on second order thinking and pathways, which is part of the Systems Thinking mini-series, but second order thinking was a long time ago. And I will see you again in the next video. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.